Let us learn about locating mode graphically. We have already learned how to calculate mode algebraically. This mode can be located graphically with the help of histogram. Histogram is one of the important methods of presenting continuous frequency distribution. Under continuous series, here the problem is given. Draw histogram and locate mode. Verify it algebraically. That verify it algebraically means with the help of applying direct formula mode, we have to find out mode that is known to you. Now, how to locate mode by drawing histogram? It is known to you, histogram means we come across a series of adjacent rectangles. Graph means there are two axes, one is x-axis, another one is y-axis. Horizontal one we say x-axis, vertical one we say y-axis. We are given weight in kgs and number of students. Weight in kgs is nothing but x, that is variable, and number of students nothing but frequencies. We take variables to x-axis and frequencies to y-axis. For this, we have to decide the scale. Usually, whatever the size of class interval, here class interval will be common. Therefore, the size of class interval itself is scale for x-axis. In this problem, 40 to 45, 45 to 50, 65 to 70, 70 to 75 means from first class to last class interval is 5, that is common class interval. Therefore, for x-axis, we may take the scale as 1 centimeter equals 5, that is size or magnitude of class interval. Then, to decide scale for y-axis, we have to consider the highest frequency. Highest frequency is 60. Therefore, by trial and error method, you have to decide the scale. If you take scale as 5, then 60 divided by 5 means you get 12. Height of histogram means rectangle will be 12 centimeter for the highest frequency. Here the width of each rectangle, how much you will get? Just 1 centimeter. Because x-axis we have taken 1 centimeter equals 5. For 1 centimeter width, if you take 12 centimeter height, that may not be that much appropriate. Therefore, you may take scale as 10. Then instead of 12, we get 6 centimeters. Means I think the height is 6 centimeter for 1 centimeter width is proportionate one. Even if you take 12 centimeter height doesn't matter, you may take, but which one is more appropriate, that one you have to take. Okay. Now therefore we have to take y-axis 1 centimeter equals 10. 1 centimeter equals 10. This is the scale. That means to x-axis we have to take from lower limit to upper limit. First one we have to start with 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. For y-axis we have taken 1 centimeter equals 10. So start from 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Highest frequency is 60. Therefore it is enough. These are what? Weight in kgs, and these are number of students. Number of students. Now, we have to take histogram, means we have to take rectangles, adjacent rectangles, we have to mark up to highest frequency. We have to mark these frequencies, number of students corresponding to lower limit. For the highest frequency, we have to mark corresponding to both the limits, that is lower limit as well as upper limit. After highest frequency, we have to mark only to the upper limit. Okay. That means now mark here 10, we have to mark corresponding to the lower limit, that is 40. 10 corresponding to lower limit 40. 30 corresponding to lower limit 45. 30 and corresponding to 45. 40 corresponding to lower limit 50. Then 60 is the highest frequency. We have to mark corresponding to both the limits 55 as well as 60. Corresponding to lower limit 55 as well as corresponding to upper limit 60. Then onwards we have to mark corresponding to upper limit. 30, upper limit is 65. 30 mark corresponding to 65. Next 25 we have to mark corresponding to 70. We are not having exact value of 25 in the y-axis. For that we have to calculate how much each millimeter measures. For that we have taken to y-axis 1 centimeter equals how much we have taken? 10. Now 1 centimeter equals how many millimeters? 10 millimeters, isn't it? 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. That means what? Our scale is how much? 1 centimeter equals 10 or 10 millimeters equals 10. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ವೈ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ? 10 ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಿಲಿಮೀಟ್ರು? 10 ಮಿಲಿಮೀಟರ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೇಲು 1 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ಸ್ 10 ಅಂದರೂ ಒಂದೇ, 10 millimeters equals 10 ಅಂದರೂ ಒಂದೇ, isn't it? Now for 1 millimeter 10 divided by 10 millimeters means each millimeter counts 1. How much we need? 25. Here it is 20, here it is 30. 25 means each millimeter counts 1, means about 20 we have to take 5 millimeters, that is half centimeter. That's all. Now take corresponding to 25 means about 20, 25 millimeters, 5 millimeters or half centimeter. Here in the middle, it comes in the middle, highest upper limit is 70, corresponding to 70, 25 corresponding to 70, put a mark. Last one is 20, that is corresponding to the upper limit 75. 20 corresponding to upper limit 75. Next we have to draw straight lines with the help of scale perpendicular to x-axis. Like this, you go on join. $65, $30, Now join each other. Okay. Now what you have to do is, the left corner of the highest frequency rectangle is to be joined with the right corner of the succeeding rectangle, like this. Okay. Next, right angle of highest frequency rectangle is to be joined to the left corner of preceding rectangle. Okay. Now these two lines intersect at a point. From that point, draw a straight line perpendicular to x-axis. Now here you have to take the reading at this point, that is nothing but mode. Here I am not doing on the graph sheet. On the graph sheet you may take the reading. Even here also, to take the reading you have to take what is the value or measure for each millimeter. In case of x-axis we have taken 1 centimeter equals 5, isn't it? 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeter. That means 1 centimeter equals 5 or 10 millimeters equals 5. Therefore 1 millimeter equals 5 divided by 10.5. Each millimeter counts 0.5. Here by that, each small line on your graph sheet that counts 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter. Now here, with the help of, anyhow it is given, verify it algebraically. On the graph sheet you have to note this scale also, and this one is only for your reference. Now with the help of algebraic formula, let us calculate mode. By that here I can give the answer approximately. And anyhow on the graph sheet, fractional values cannot be located exactly, but anyhow you may give the round figure or even fractional value to certain extent, 0.5, like that approximately we may give. With the help of algebraic formula we may calculate z equals L1 plus f1 minus f0 divided by 2f1 minus f0 minus f2 into L2 minus L1. We take the modal class. L1 means lower limit of modal class, L2 upper limit of modal class, f1 frequency of modal class, f0 frequency of preceding modal class, and f2 frequency of succeeding modal class. And modal class occurs corresponding to the highest frequency. Highest frequency is 60. Modal class is 55 to 60. Therefore L1 55, L2 F0, F1 F2 equals L1 55 plus F1 40 minus F1 60 minus F0 40 divided by 2F1 2 into 60 minus 40 minus F2 30 into L2 60 minus 55 equals 55 plus 60 minus 40 20 divided by 2 into 60 120 minus 40 and minus 30 70 into 60 minus 55 5 equals 55 plus 20 divided by 120 minus 70, 50 into 5, okay, equals 55 plus 2 into 5, 10, or you may cancel 5 and 5, remaining 2 equals 57. Now, here it is 55. Now you see here more portion is left to right side. Therefore, here it may be 4 millimeters. It is not exactly middle. It is a little to left side. That means here you may take, when it is a round figure, you may take exactly even on graph with the help of mode. Here even graphically we may show z equals 57. This is how we may locate mode graphically. Now take a second problem. Even for this also you have to draw histogram and locate mode, and you have to verify it algebraically. Okay. Now if you observe, there is a difference between this problem and this problem. If you observe the class interval, in the first problem, class interval from first class to last class, class interval is the same. But if you observe here, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, up to this class interval is 5. 25 to 35, class interval is 10. 35 to 45, here also in these two cases class interval is 10. Then 45 to 65, class interval is 20. When the class interval is not common, in the previous video I have told you, we have to regularize the class intervals in case of calculating mode or median. Here class interval is not common, therefore we have to regularize the class interval. To regularize the class interval, there are two methods. One is integrating or combining, and another one is disintegrating or splitting. Here in this case we cannot integrate or combine. On the other hand, we have to disintegrate or split the classes to get the common class interval. That is one method. Another method is we have to calculate the height. Here in the first method problem, height of histogram is taken, means rectangles taken proportionate to frequency, because class interval is common. Here when the class interval is not common or unequal, then we have to calculate the height. Height equals frequency. Height equals frequency divided by class interval. Even that method also you may follow. Anyhow, that regularization of class interval is known to you. Therefore, here take marks as x. How we have to regularize? 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25. Now, this is to be splitted into two classes. That is 25 to 30 and 30 to 35, isn't it? 25 to 30 and 30 to 35. Even this also to be splitted into two classes, that is 35 to 40 and 40 to 45, isn't it? 35 to 45 splitted into two classes. Then 45 to 65, here common class interval we have to take 5, because first four classes are with 5 class interval, isn't it? Otherwise, if you take as 20, then you will get only 2 classes, only 3 classes. Here we have to keep in mind even the principles of classification. Minimum number of classes, maximum number of classes, even that also we have to consider. Therefore, we cannot combine like that.
by taking class interval as 20. If you take like that, then even then that cannot be clubbed, isn't it? Is if you club 5 to 25, 25 to 45, 45 to 65, only 3 classes. That will not fulfill the principles of classification. That is, minimum number of classes must be between 7 and 15. That minimum number of classes must be 7. Number of classes must be between 7 and 15. At least 5 classes we must have, even though not 7, at least 5. Even that is also not fulfilled. Therefore, here only option is we have to disintegrate, or we have to split the classes. Now, 45 to 65 means we have to split this into 4 classes. That is 45 to 50, 50 to 55, 55 to 60 and 60 to 65. Here we have splitted it into 4, these two into 2. Okay. Ali nimage class interval regularize ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ in case of calculation of mode and median, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಮನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ನಾವು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅರ್ಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಮೀನ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಂತ ಆಸ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಸ್ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸಸನ್ನು ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವನ್ನ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಂದೇ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಇರೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 5 to 10 ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಂದ 20 to 25 ಹಾಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ವಿ. 25 to 35 2 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಇದನ್ನು 2 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ 25 to 30, 30 to 35. ಹಾಗೆ 35 to 45 2 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. 35 to 40, 40 to 45. 45 to 65ನ ನಾವು 20 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ 5 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ 4 ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸೀಸ್, ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದು ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿ ಟೇಕ್ 15, 25, 35, 40. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಂಬರ್ಸಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟೆಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟು 2 classes. Therefore, divide this 60 by 2. 60 by 2 means 30, 30. For both the classes, we have to take equal frequency. Then, even this class is splitted into 2. Therefore, divide the frequency by 2. 20 divided by 2, 10, 10. Then 20 in this class, 20 has splitted into 4 classes. Therefore, divide it by 4. This one divided by 2, 2, 4. That means 20 divided by 4, 5. Like this we have to take. Okay. Now, as usual, we have to draw histogram for x-axis. X-axis, as usual, class interval is the scale. For y-axis, we have to consider the highest frequency. Here highest frequency is 40. Therefore, if you take 5 as class interval, then height is 8 centimeters. Therefore, you may, on the other hand, if you take 10 as class interval, then height will be only 4 centimeters. Instead of 4, I think 8 is more appropriate one. Okay. Now, here we may do one thing. First, we may calculate mode algebraically. Highest frequency is 40. Therefore, modal class is 20 to 25. L1, L2, F0, F1, F2. Now, Z equals L1 20 plus F1 40 minus F0 35 divided by 2 into 40 minus 35 minus 30 into 25 minus 20 equals 20 plus 40 minus 35, 5 divided by 2 into 40, 80 minus 35 and minus 30, 65 into 25 minus 25 equals 20 plus 5 divided by 15 into 5. 80 minus 65, 15 into 5 equals 20 plus 5 3s are 5 1s are 5 6 are 6 6 7 equals 21.6667 or 21.7, or you may take even graphically, you may take even 22. Okay, now draw graph. Now this one is okay, let it be. Scale x-axis 1 centimeter equals 5, and even y-axis we have taken 1 centimeter equals 5. Now we have to start from the lower limit. I'll take even y-axis. X-axis, we have to start from the lower limit 5 and we have to take up to the upper limit of the last class 65. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, x-axis. Then y-axis, we have taken 1 centimeter equals 5, highest frequency is 40, take 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. It is y-axis. X-axis variables, marks, and y-axis frequencies, number of students. Now, in this case, even y-axis we have taken 1 centimeter equals 5, and it is known to you 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. Therefore, 1 centimeter equals 10, 1 centimeter equals 10 or 10 millimeters, 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters as 1 centimeter equals 5 or 10 millimeters equals 5. Therefore, 1 millimeter equals 5 divided by 10 equals 0.5. Each millimeter counts 0.5. Now, we have to mark up to highest frequency corresponding to the lower limit. 15, here it is 15, lower limit is 5, corresponding to lower limit 5, mark 15. 25, 25, corresponding to the lower limit is 10, here mark 25, 25. Next, 35, lower limit is 15, corresponding to 15, 15, mark 35. Next one, 40, we have to mark 40, that is highest frequency corresponding to both the limits, that is 20 and 25, corresponding to 20, 40, 40, corresponding to the lower limit 20 and the upper limit 25. Okay, then after highest frequency, then onwards we have to mark corresponding to the upper limit 30, corresponding to the upper limit 30, that is 30, then again 30, that is corresponding to upper limit 35, corresponding to upper limit 35. Next, here it is 10, corresponding to upper limit 40, 10, corresponding to upper limit 40, 45, 10, corresponding to upper limit 45, then 5, corresponding to upper limit 5, corresponding to upper limit 50, 50, 50, then 55, 55, upper limit 60, upper limit 65. Now we have to draw straight line perpendicular to x-axis. Now join each other. Okay, now you have to join upper left corner of highest frequency rectangle to right corner of succeeding rectangle, and left corner of right corner of highest frequency rectangle with the preceding right corner. Now these two intersect at a particular point. From that point, draw a straight line parallel to x-axis. Now you have to take the reading at this point. See, it is 20 and each millimeter counts 0.5. Here approximately you may observe on the graph sheet you will get exactly means you cannot mark as on the graph sheet 21.6667 like algebraically you cannot mark like that, but anyhow you may mark as 22 or you may mark as 21.5, or even approximately you may write 21.7, or you may take as 22. This is mode. This one method. Another method is there. Anyhow, to calculate algebraically, we have to split this one. We have to split like this. On the other hand, you may draw histogram by taking or by calculating the height. That means even without splitting this, for calculating algebraically, you have to split. But to draw histogram, you need not split the classes. Instead, we have to calculate the height. How to calculate height means height equals frequency divided by class interval. That means in the first class, frequency is 15, class interval is how much? 5. 15 divided by 5, that is 3. Next one, 25, class interval of the corresponding class is 5. 25 divided by 5, 5. Next, 35 divided by class interval of the corresponding class is 5. 35 divided by 5, 7. 40, class interval is 5. 40 divided by 5, 8. 60, class interval is how much? 25 to 35. Class interval is 10. It is 6. Next one, 20, class interval is 10. That is 2. Next, 20, class interval is how much? 45 to 65. Class interval is 20. Therefore, it is 1. Now, we have to consider this height for y-axis. Means variables we write as number of students only. For the purpose of drawing histogram, we consider only height. Here highest one is 8. That means to y-axis, in this case we may take x-axis, no change. Class interval itself is the scale. For y-axis, here by considering the height, highest one is 8. Therefore, we may take 1 centimeter equals 1, isn't it? Now, as usual, we have to draw histogram. X-axis, no change. X-axis, no change. We have to, in this method, x-axis, no change in the scale. Y-axis, here highest one is 8. Therefore, for y-axis, we may take 1 centimeter equals 1. X-axis 1 centimeter equals 5. Y-axis 1 centimeter equals 1. In case of x-axis, here 5 to 25 class interval is 5. Here 25 to 35. We cannot take for y-axis. After 25 we cannot take 35 because scale once for x-axis 1 centimeter equals 5. Therefore, here we have to take like this only 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. Like that only we have to take, no change in x-axis. But in case of y-axis, we have to take from 1 to 8 because y-axis scale is 1 centimeter equals 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, up to highest one, we have to mark corresponding to the lower limit. In case this one, we do not consider frequencies to draw histogram, we consider height. 3 corresponding to lower limit, 5. 3 corresponding to 5. 5 corresponding to lower limit, 10. 5 corresponding to 10. 7 corresponding to lower limit 15. Next 8, we have to mark corresponding to both the limits 20 and 25. 8, 20, 20 and 25. 20, 25. Then onwards we have to mark corresponding to the highest frequency, upper limit of the corresponding class. 6 corresponding to upper limit 35. 6 corresponding to 35. 2 corresponding to 45. Corresponding to 45. 1 corresponding to 65. 165. Now draw straight lines perpendicular to x-axis. On the board I am doing roughly, it is not 100% exact one. On your graph sheet you will get exact one. Now if you observe the shape same in the previous method, we had the subdivisions. That's all. As usual, left corner and right corner of subsequent or succeeding rectangle, and right corner and right corner and right corner of the preceding rectangle. Now from these two intersect at a point. Now from that point draw a straight line perpendicular to x-axis. At this point we get a reading that is nothing but z. Here on the graph we cannot take exactly like algebraically 21.667. You may take 21.5 hours, maximum 21.7. That is the limitation of graphical method of location of mode. Now this is how we will going to locate mode with the help of histogram. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆಥಡಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸನ್ನು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮೆಥಡಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೈಟನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ. ಹೈಟನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್. ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಕರಸ್ಪಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ದು ಏನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದರಿಂದ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ವಿ. 15 ಇದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ 5, 3. 25 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ is 5, 5. 35 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ 5, 7. 40 ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ 5 ಇದೆ, 40 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 5, 8. 60 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, 10 ಇದೆ, 60 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 10, 6. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 20 ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ 10 ಇದೆ, 20 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 10, 2. 20 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ಲು 20 ಇದೆ, 20 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 21. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ಹೈಟನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಹಿಸ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಈ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸೀಸನ್ನು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೈಟನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಗ ವೈ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಸಿಸ್ದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲು ಹಾಗೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಶೇಪು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದೇ ಶೇಪು. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದೊಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದು ಶೇಪ್ ಹಾಗೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲೊಕೇಟ್ ಮೋಡ್. ಓಕೆ, Thank you.